Anybody here for the first time? Raise your hands if you are new to this Friday. Okay, Julia, welcome. I'm Mahesh. If you don't know me, I worked at Google before I started something of my own. So that's my core competency. But today's session, we're going to talk about something even more important, which is how can you evaluate agents with non-deterministic outputs. We'll talk about that a lot. We can set how, as a product manager, you can set the team to succeed with AI, especially around how can you set your North Star metrics and how can you set your weekly or quarterly goals that allows your team to make progress around these non-deterministic or something that you can't measure like yes or no or testing. How can you set those goals? And then we will, if time permitted, we'll talk about auto evaluators and how can you scale with AI judging AI or AI doing your evaluations as AI, right? So that's the last thing. Hopefully we can cover all of these. So let's start with what is evaluation and what are the challenges with evaluation or especially evaluating AI agents. But let's talk about this, right? Let's talk more about this idea that, okay, you are this guy, you build this agent. Let's put this as the agent. And let's say this agent does this favorite use case we have, which we talk about all the time. It reads contracts and gets you terms. So let's say you're a product manager. You found a problem that people can't read contracts. They want to extract key terms, and AI is so good at reading documents and finding insights from it. So you build something like this, where you can go and upload a contract. So you can upload a contract. Let's say this one. I upload a contract, it finds out what kind of contract it is. And then you can go to contract repository. I'm just trying to accelerate it if it's possible. But let's say you upload a contract and after contract, you get key legal terms out, which is on left-hand side, you see the contract. Right-hand side, you can quickly see what is the renewal clause, what are the terms, what is the limitations of liability, what is indemnification, is there a clause? And it gives you details answer, good answers, bad answer, termination notice period, 30 days, and you can click here and check where I read it from. Simple app. Everybody can remember this example. If somebody asks you, have you done any AI agent? You can just say, I built an AI agent which does this, takes a contract, find all the key terms. And actually, I can change these key terms. I can also automatically insert it in HubSpot. So some utility, good enough agent, that an agent which can read a contract, find the key terms that you specify or somehow you figure out. So in this case, so you just come here, you can select it and you can say review contract. It first says, okay, these are the key terms I will give you. You can add more key terms, but let's say you don't just want to review again. It will load your contract left-hand side, right-hand side, it extract these values and you can find out where I read it from. And let's say you are very smart. You also give reasoning why you think that answer is that answer. Okay. So now a lawyer need not to read the contract. If they have like 30 things they want from this contract, they can get in 2 minutes live, which we just did. Okay, now you're the product manager for this product and you are supposed to set evaluations. What are evaluations? I have heard testing, I have heard development, but what is this new thing called evaluations? So you build this thing, which I just showed you. You're the product manager. You're supposed to evaluate it, or let's talk about what is evaluation in this context. What are you supposed to do in this example I just shared? If you're the product manager, what are you doing for this evaluation block? Somebody says, hey, do you have your evaluations? How will I evaluate this product?
Using
Anyone? Somebody?
Lack of standardized benchmarks, Mahesh, because like in the context that you have described, how do you really come up with a sort of a benchmark and then say, oh, okay, this is what I've evaluated, because there's no standardized benchmark at a very high level is what's coming
So
to
what
my
is the
mind.
evaluation, right? Means I think there are problems and I will write them here. And what is you are alluding to a problem that I don't know what is a good key term or what is like, if a contract is given for a given contract, what are the right key terms to extract? That could be one benchmark. And then on those key terms, what are the correct values, which we can say the ground truth or what my ideal output. So we're discussing problems. But I just want to go to the basic, like, hey, when anybody says, because what's happening is, let me tell you a few things, right? I'm talking to all my friends. Yesterday, I was in SFO talking to a friend who just started a startup, awesome guy, 20 years, Microsoft. And yesterday, he was just so excited to tell me one thing, which is, hey, you know what? I built this agent. This agent mines all the data of a company. So it takes like 1 terabyte of data as an input. And then you can ask any question, it generate insights. No magic, nothing. But then he said, you know what? This customer told me this, that, hey, it is not, your agent is not working. And they complained about these three things where they wanted something else, but the agent gave them something else. And then he was able to figure, after that, he was like, show me what you want, which is what I'm talking, what Sham was alluding to, that I don't know what is the right answer for these things. So the customer gave him the right answer. And then he sat using all the cursor and all, and he was able to build something which evaluated for that particular thing. And he was talking as if like this is like the magic thing like he did, which is amazing. And these are how developers are thinking about it. Another instance, I was listening to YC. YC posted this. They have a YouTube channel, uh, which I highly recommend to watch. Uh, they are talking about prompt engineering in the last one, which I'm happy to share the link. If you search YC, I think it was last week. And they were saying that the crown jewel of AI applications or agent is no more prompts, it's evaluations. And people talk about evaluation all the time. I just want to know from all of you or this community, the question is, what is evaluation? When people say evaluation, what do they mean?
I think it's a way to measure performance and reliability of an AI system
Okay,
or
great.
agent.
Evaluation means how good is my agent in doing what it claims to do. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Right? If somebody says evaluation, that's what they mean. Okay. Can somebody tell me how will you, when we say then, how can I know how good it is? There are few things we can talk about and few things how will you do this? If you have to, like, now we have an example, we have this contract one, and my claim is that, hey, it extracts all the right terms and it's super awesome. It's the best thing and it does it in 4 minutes. So my pitch is that if you use my product in 4 minutes, you can get the insights, whatever you care about from your contract, and you can quickly look at them and then insert them in HubSpot Salesforce, which allows you to have a single source of truth for everything you have ever signed. And then we can build on top of it a lot of things. But let's say that's the bare minimum MVP you build. If you
Yeah.
build that, then how good is my product? How can I check that? How you set that even? Somebody said
So,
baseline. Please continue.
yeah, so if you are looking for answers, right, there would be some industry accepted baseline answers. So, what I would measure is when I prompt the AI agent, how accurately it is answering the question against that industry accepted baseline answer.
Awesome. Great. You did the magic. Okay. So now what she's saying is evaluation is what? Evaluation is this idea that I want to see how good you are to what you claim. Correct. And then uh, please mention your name. What she's saying is, which is correct. She's saying, hey, I can set up some ground truths working with who? She said industry. Can somebody improvise that? She said industry has it. Industry in our case, let's say I work with,
Benchmarks.
let's say that subject matter
Yeah,
expert.
Smees.
So in
Yes,
this
Yeah.
case,
Smees.
I can work with lawyers. I can work with lawyers and create this same thing that, hey, you read the contract, tell me which key terms are important to you and what are their values. So I can get key term and value pair for each contract. I have three things now. I have a link to the contract. I have its key terms and what are the right values from an expert, which in this case would be a lawyer, right? So the domain expertise matter here. That's why people are saying that if you want to build agents, you need domain expertise. Without that, you can't build, because you can't build this evaluation. And if you can't build this evaluation, then one day when your customer tells you it doesn't work, then you ask them these questions, and then you just fix that one problem and you think you have an aha moment. Instead, somebody who actually hires a product manager from this community is able to actually create this ground truths. And once you have the ground truths, can you compare these? So I am a product manager of this product, and somebody said, Mahesh, to set the evaluation, what I did is I hire lawyers, or I got the benchmarks, I download some contracts, their key values, where the location is. And if it is not there, I hired lawyers to create this ground truth. And once I have the ground truth, I can compare my agent responses to these responses. And then what can I say? How many times I have matched accurately? Some people are talking about this new term also, like these days, which is precision and recall. In this example, what that would be?
It'll be
Can I
precision.
break my
recall,
accuracy further with precision and recall?
Yeah, you can look at precision for sure for entities.
What would be the precision in this case? Okay, let me just do it for you, and then we'll move on. This is all I want to lay down as a foundation. Then we can have a really good discussion after this, right? I will give you some examples also. So then I can get my accuracy. I can just get the ground truths, key product, key term values, and then precision-wise, what I can say is, hey, let's say I'm checking the precision. There is an agent which, given a contract, tells you which key terms are important. Correct? And given a contract, a lawyer told you these 10 key terms are important. Correct?
Mhm.
Your agent said 12 key terms are important. Correct?
Mhm.
And this 12 has all those 10, but it has two
Mhm.
extra. Correct? Will you call it, is it how accurate your agent is? Will you call it 100% accurate? Did it got all 10?
So the precision will be lower, right? So of the items you flagged, how many were correct?
Correct. So now you said, so this idea of false positives. So I have two false positives in this one. So true positive is if I say something and the agent says something, then both of us mean that's true positive. And precision, the idea is if you get something more, which is false negative, which is this idea of false positive, sorry, true
False
positive,
positive.
false positive. So if I got 10 correctly, it's true positive. And for these two, I got two false positives.
Yes.
So now if I can want to find my precision, it's 10 divided by 12.
Yes.
Mhm.
That's my precision, right? I got
Yeah.
everything right. I'm 100% accurate maybe, but my precision has dropped. I am 10 to 12, correct?
Mhm.
Everybody agrees?
Yeah.
I can also have false negatives that I only got 8 and I'm accurate on those 8, right? Means let's say I got the values right and everything. Then there is a recall idea, which is I did not got the last two. So I'm penalizing false negatives. So in this case, I will have again like 12 divided by 10 if I got 8. Good. Precision recall clear? Everybody got it? So the idea is that, okay, you take this idea of, you create this matrix called false positives. So
Mhm.
this is model predicted, this is your predictive. And if they match, is true positive.
Mhm.
Otherwise, is false positive. If you say that it is no, it's true negative. And the model says it's no, it's true negative. And then it's false negative if the mod you said that it is not, this key term is not needed, but the model said this key term is needed.
Correct.
Mhm.
That's a false negative. So if you got 8, then you have two false negatives, correct? Because the model is saying, hey, these terms are needed. These two terms, let's say key term, net payment and liability are needed. The model is saying that these terms should be there, but you are saying they are not needed. So you have, this number is 2 for you in that case. If you got 8, and your recall is whatever the total number of things you got, your false positive in this case would be 8, and your false positive plus negative, that's 8 by 10. So what
Yes.
you are penalizing, are you penalizing false positives or false negative? Decide your precision and recall. Okay, the idea is this. So this is how your evaluation will look like. So what I did is, if I wanted to evaluate how good my agent was doing, I took this contract, I said this is the contract, Intuit Master Service Agreement. I hired somebody to say these are the right key terms, these are the values, this is the benchmark or ground truth. These are one and the same thing, and this some lawyer gave me these, right? And then I can find the same values from my product and compare them. And anything is wrong, it's definitely accuracy is wrong, and I can find out the accuracy. But then there is this idea of things like this one, right? So I got the accuracy, I can calculate precision, recall, all that I can do now. But this idea that, customer indemnity, what are the terms for customer indemnification? And when I try to evaluate this one, Some people said it is great. Some people said it's not that great. And I don't know. Some of the lawyers, one lawyer he got this. Obviously, he made this evaluation, so he thought it's great. But the other one said, no, Mahesh, it should be a one-line answer. The other one said, oh, in indemnity, you actually forgot indemnity also has insurance, and insurance and indemnity should be combined. And now I don't know. Because it's such a subjective one, and every lawyer thought very differently about the same question. What could I have done? So we got the objective ones, right? That, okay, if it is yes or no answer, or if the value I need to extract, I can just put accuracy. I can then calculate precision and recall, and I will be very happy. And I have set evaluations for my team. But now I am a little bit taking you forward and saying, what if you have more subjective, non-deterministic responses from the people you are doing this for? So now let's take this little forward, that how can you make this whole subjective thing a little bit objective? And I will give you one framework which I used, and I claim to created it. Okay, so now evaluations means accuracy for things that I can quantify, and then I can have precision and recall on those. So that's one. But for things which are subjective, which Jessica was talking about, we also introduced this idea that you can actually set up three things. You can say, is it helpful? Is it honest? And is it harmless? So these are the three things you can start putting or trying to bring some objectivity to this subjective world. And what is helpful? So instead of saying this lawyer says this is not good, I will ask a question to him or her, and I will say, hey, why is it not? Why you don't like it? And they say, Mahesh, indemnity should have insurance in it. Without that, I can't make a call. Is indemnity good for us or not? So then for indemnity clause to be helpful, it needs to also know what is the insurance we have bought so we can indemnify or not. This number is good or not, right? So now I know I have a domain expertise. A domain expert told me something that I didn't know. And now I can put it in a question called, is the indemnification clause has insurance or not? Correct? So if my response has insurance, then it's helpful. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Then if somebody said, hey, it has to be 2 to 3 sentences, and these indemnify has an amount, and I have seen the amount on like 9th line. I don't want to read that much. Can you start with what is the amount so I can ignore everything else if I don't want to read? So then I can put a question in my helpful saying, does indemnification start with amount first? The response, right? And if it does, it's helpful. If it is not, then it's not helpful. And if you go on and on like that, then you can take that subjective thing, but objectify it. And then Anirban, to answer your question, then who's doing this evaluation? Then when you get these responses, your subject matter experts are doing this evaluation, not you. Your lawyer is saying, did I got this? Our indemnification is done this. Is this there or not? And they are filling this yes, no columns. And if they do that, then you can get a broader matrix like this and of your product, which I will share in a second, and just land this idea of helpful, honest, and harmless. So what you can do is you can define these questions in this example we did. Okay, now you have ground truths, you can come up with accuracy, but this shit helps me find what is helpful. And some subject matter expert, like a lawyer, can go take the my answer and mark this yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And there can be many questions. As you learn, as you grow, you will have many questions. You can continue to evolve this. And then you can have a total score, which is, hey, our product is 60% helpful, right? And similarly, you can define questions. What is honest means to these? Is the answer fabricated? Is the cited response, like in this example, this cited response, which we talked about, if I click on it, does it take me to the right page? Seems like it doesn't. Seems like this response is not, means it is because it's Kaiser will comply to CCPA. But if I click this and it tells me whose party is it, why I think service provider name is this one, then it's correct. But this answer can be correct, but it's not honest if I cannot verify it. And that goes into your honesty metrics. So everybody got, and similarly, you can have harmful. And the idea is that once you justify or get what is honest, what is helpful, what is harmless, you can have these questions, and your subject matter experts can fill these. And then you, based on the filters, you can get numbers. And then you can set a target for your team saying we can only launch this product to 1% user when we reach helpfulness of 60%, honesty of 70%, and less than 5% harmlessness.
So you have to, verify for each and every company contract to kind of,
Correct.
say it.
So you can say 100 contracts. You can
Uh-huh.
justify 100 contracts, and across 100 contracts, you will calculate how helpful you are. You can start with 10, but if you are not passing 10, don't send it to your customers. And then that they learn that all indemnification is just a clause full of blob and nobody wants your product. While some guy who did this due diligence, their product will look a little crisp because they will have the indemnification amount, they will have all insurance because they did the due diligence, and their product manager know what evaluation is. So,
Okay.
and this is not what people are talking about evaluation outside this room. They're talking about how to set up logging, metrics, how to find out what this does, how many times it fails, did it find the right thing? All these are good engineering metrics. But without setting what is your accuracy, what is your precision recall, and then what is helpful, honest, and harmless, you are not bringing the domain specific expertise in your products, and you are not setting the right goals for your engineering. And then you can define different areas. Then you can set up these criteria. And then you can also talk about automating this, which is this idea that you can have automatically find precision and recall. That can be done. These tools people talk about all the time, like they're just doing so much marketing without solving the real problem, which you should be hired for, which is setting helpful, honest, and harmless. But they are saying, hey, we tell you precision and recall these numbers automatically once you give us the ground truth. But nobody knows what the ground truth is, and nobody's setting that. So, but those tools can give you precision and recall numbers. Blue is rouge, coherence, groundedness. And the last thing here, which I want to land, is an LLM as a judge, which is when you scale these products, what will happen is that, hey, after that, as Anirban didn't say it, but he felt it somewhere inside his head, that this is too boring and too much work, that now I have to go 100 contracts and hire a lawyer to do this. Best of luck, Mahesh. This is like, I want to just build, ship, and then take a badge and then live happily ever after. So that's a hard thing. It's very expensive also. Lawyers are the most expensive if you are building something like this. So how can you do this? Which is this idea that can you do it for 10 contracts with a lawyer? And then can you train a model to fill this column for you? So the column looks at this answer, looks at this definition of what is helpful, has a prompt, and then fills this column for you. Good?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And that is called an LLM as a judge, or they are saying AI evaluators. And these evaluators can fill this sheet for you. There's already an API called Content Moderation API, and I can use that to fill this column. Does it ask for solicit personal information? That I can fill with an LLM as a judge. But if you go and ask it, hey, is too verbose or not to the point? Train it as much as you want. It will always miss the mark. What we did is we calculated recall and precision of these things, and they were less than 40%. How will you calculate recall and precision of a LLM as a judge? Can somebody help me? Because I gave you recall and precision, Shokan, I can ask you this question now. This is my last question today, and then I will give you some more tips, and then you can just challenge me on everything I said ever. How will you judge it? How will you? So I am saying, anybody says, hey, AI is automated. I have this LLM as judge. I run this evaluation. I generated this synthetic data, and now I have done this. And you are asking them, hey, what is the LLM judge precision and recall?
So you
What that would
give the LLM those 10 entities and ask it to verify if those 10 entities are included in the response. And then also ask it if there are additional entities that are included in the response to really understand if it's verbose or not.
So how will you do it is, you should just, if anybody's talking about LLM as a judge, you should just ask them, hey, here's my use case. Can you just go and tell me the precision and recall? And what you should give them is that, hey, this is my evaluation. This is my indemnity key value. This is my response, this whole thing. And what is your response? Is this response verbose? And let's say they say yes. And then say next contract, they are saying no. Next contract, they are saying yes, right? They have their numbers. Then you ask your subject matters, what do you think? Like, this is your ground truth. This is what the model said. Yes, yes, no, right? And then you can figure out how many false positive, true positive, false negatives, true negatives you have. And then you can calculate precision and recall. And if this precision is coming out above 80%, then you can replace this because this can run on scale. But if it is less than 40%, then it's a flip of a coin. The idea is that your model is saying that this is verbose, and your lawyer is saying it's not verbose. Correct? So you got that one wrong. It's a false positive.
Yeah.
Because lawyer is the ground truth. Right? So lawyer is the ground truth. Then you can say, okay.
I mean, there could also be multiple lawyers, right?
Yeah. So yes, but you have to zero down on one for getting these ground truths, right? So whatever your company conciseness, which Jessica was talking about, I can talk to 3 and then finally get 1.
And Mahesh, so you said for the LLM judge, you would, if you for certain entities, if you're above 70%, you wouldn't use the LLM judge. You would go and use it for the lower values. Is that what you were saying when you said for 40%?
I'm saying if this value, if it is coming and it's saying that I am accurately doing it 70% of the time, I will deploy this LLM as a judge. But if anybody doesn't claim that it is in your test is not coming at 70%, then don't do it. Still do whatever the lawyer is saying. And hire the lawyers. Don't compromise your product because you don't have money. You still try to scale it.
Yeah. On the ground truth, are you also implying that there will be a weighted ground truth? Because across the different law firms, the answer, yes, no.
I mean, if you can, that's the next level. But right now, where the industry is and what people are doing, if you can find one lawyer and if he says that, and that's your best lawyer in your company, people are just going with that. But this would be a good idea, talking to 5 lawyers and then weighted average of that and then putting it. It just, simple ideas are easy to implement. The more complex you make them, it's a little harder. So I have not seen that, but it's a good idea. But we got the LLM idea. We got the precision recall idea, that to get to LLM judge, before you get to LLM and a judge, you need to get to precision and recall. And if you don't have LLM as a judge, you don't have the precision and recall, you get to similarity and coherence, this idea of calculating blue and root scores. And if you can have that compared to ground truths, that's good enough to make some decisions. And if nothing works, then please set the human evaluations and make sure you have that in your product and you're meeting your numbers. And if you don't have human evaluations, please become that product manager who does it. If you can't hire lawyers, become that lawyer, do your best, but have these numbers in your evaluations. Without that, you will be surprised on what you get out from customers, and you will be losing more customers than gaining. And your CAC would look, cost of customer acquisition would be a decimal matrix as you continue without doing this thing. So that's my last thing. How you set up metrics? You set up North Star metrics, which is total task completed, which is how many contracts I was able to extract these key terms and people accepted them. So that's, and then you can have L1 metrics, which is a lower metrics, which is how many task completion rate, because you will also have a failure rate. So this will just manage week on week, how many are we completing, how many contracts we are processing. Then you will have, what is my task completion rate? Let's say I try 5 and I can only extract 4 and 1 always fails because we can't even find out what is in return in it. Then your 80%, your helpfulness, your honesty and harmless. Got it? And then you have detailed metrics, which we can talk about some other day. I will send you a document. You can also need technical performance metrics, latency, quality, reliability. These you are a little bit familiar with. I put it down there anyways, because P99, P95, these things matter a lot. What is your recovery? What is your first meaningful response time? But this is the last thing, and this is very important. So you are an AI PM, and now you know how to set up evaluations. And if somebody asks you in the next call that, hey, have you ever set up evaluations? Can all of you raise your hand and say, yes, we have done it for a contract product? And how you set up, you can just share the sheet that I gave you, and you can explain what is helpful, harmless, honest, and you got there. But then the second question they will ask is, okay, I got the metrics, but how you set up the team to succeed? And few things that works here is, which is, you can set, I want 20% growth in completed tasks. Because what you will learn shipping agents is that your known completion rate is more than completion rates. So if the customer, if you're doing 10 contracts, you're actually be able to do 3 contracts right only in your first cut. And if you can improve that by 20% week on week or month on month, that's a good target to have. So set it like that. Second, 40% improvement in helpfulness score. And now they can figure out whatever they need to do. They need to do RAG, they need to do fine tuning, all those fancy things which we talk about in other sessions, like we will put tools, we will do focus, we will do multi-agents. None of your business. You are saying, I want the helpfulness to be 40% more in next 6 months. That's mean 5% this week. Can somebody show me what are you doing? Are you doing prompts? Are you improving RAG? Are you changing the model? What is our plan? Show me the strategy. That's your discussions with engineering manager, and you should set this goal for them. 30% efficiency, because the cost of serving your customers should always go down. That's the whole promise of AI. And you are setting that as 30%. And I can one day tell you why I pick up these numbers. But the idea here is that what is the cost per token for us, or what is the cost per contract processing, which is how many times we try again, how many times we got things wrong, how many times we have to go and re-verify things just because our first prompts are not good. What's that cost looks like? And I'm trying to reduce that by 30%. This could be latency. This could be the cost of tokens, number of tokens consumed in the whole, getting the whole job done. And you set this forward, and backward the whole team can innovate, which is we went to smaller models. We did this, we did that. So your CV should look like, I help make agent 15% more helpful after launch by introducing agentic RAG and by putting a pipeline of RLHF. If I read that, I want to talk to you. I want to know why. Because my thing doesn't improve anything. My team has not improved anything for the last 6 months. They launched it, and I'm just dealing with it. And if I look at your CV and I read that, I want to talk to you. And maybe I don't want to hire you. I'm curious to know how you did it, because you have given me enough here. Okay, so design your CVs like that. Go with these metrics. I'm Mahesh. I'm on this LinkedIn channel. I am becoming an influencer. I have more than 10,000 followers. Thanks to all of you. Next sessions will be build and deploy enterprise agent. Microsoft Copilot is a cool tool. So if you're interested, please join that. This is the course. We're starting in July, but we are doing an awesome thing, which is interview prep for the people who just joined the course. That starts on June 21st. If you want to join that, where we will be doing 3 to 4 weeks of just what people ask in interviews, how can you get ready, how can you show up to win in these, join now, and we will give you the next cohort as a bundle. So please do not wait till July 26th. Join now so you can part of June 21st interview prep. We have a YouTube channel that's going awesome. We are growing a lot. People are loving the videos, and I get every other day a message. So we will record these sessions and put it. If you're not following the YouTube channel, follow it. We have a community. We have a Slack channel, and whatever I can't cover here, there are a lot of experts who wanted to talk a lot in this session. They will talk a lot in Slack and LinkedIn, and I will watch them. And if they don't respond there, I won't let them talk here. Thank you again.